special show.
It is. This is the Don't Tell My Mother show.
The big gay show.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is the thing. We could tell a bunch of stories, but we actually have a positive thing to say about our mothers, okay?
We don't want you to tell them.
We don't want you to, because this will go to their heads, okay?
You know how moms are when they're right, they're fucking insufferable.
Yes, yes.
But they're like I was right about that Tony. I told you I was. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
State home, private home, big difference, bitch. Just saying. What happened to the honesty? We're black. Okay.
So we don't want to tell our mothers that they were ahead of their time. Okay?
Apparently they were mavericks.
Yes. They were mavens.
That's right.
Okay?
But in the sense that they actually believed the words that came out of their mouth as they said them. Both of our mothers, although we grew up independently, taught us that you have the responsibility to stand up for what is right.
Absolutely.
That it is not okay to watch anybody else be picked on, bullied, or discriminated against and take some sort of Switzerland stance.
Absolutely.
As if that shit is motherfucking possible during a Holocaust. What the fuck was that shit?
What the fuck was that shit?
They don't get enough shit for that, I'm sorry.
Yes.
They don't get enough shit for it. They don't. I give them shit.
Every day I got to listen. What the? Hey, how you doing, girl? Switzerland. What the fuck was that shit? That's what I get. Every day
I wake up. It's like Switzerland. I don't know what that is. My subconscious is really fucked up. But in any case, in political.
So this is the deal. Angela and I, we had very different mothers. Yeah. My mother worked at the post office in Chicago.
Now, this is in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if any of you are old enough. Some of you are. The post office in the 80s and 90s was very much like the Wild West.
Yes. Shit would jump off every day.
Do people remember the term going postal?
Yes.
Her mother was in charge of those crazy motherfuckers.
Yes. Yes. So my mother always broke it down. She'd be like, no. Who you think you're talking to? No, I'm not Boo Boo the fool up in here. Okay? Thinking I just fell off a chicken shack up in this bitch.
Which is, by the way, not an actual aphorism.
No, it isn't.
Fell off a chicken shack?
No. But I'd be like, yes, mama. Yes, you're right, mama. Right?
Has anybody ever fallen off a chicken shack? Anybody quotable? No. And my mother was an attorney, and so law school had warped her mind. And so she would say, it's the same thing basically, but she would basically say something like, I have to read it because it's the only thing, this is how she would say it. As both your representative and advocate, it's imperative that you understand that I never have to heretofore known as mother did not at any point allegedly or otherwise fall off of a chicken shack.
Same thing. Yes.
Yeah, my mom and I made contracts and appointments. She got her ass beat.
Yes. My mother never had to tell me to be kind or loving or supportive of people, okay? Because that's how we lived, all right? Downstairs from us lived my great uncle, Charlene, all right? Yes, Charlene.
See, times have changed, you've done the math.
Yes, and his girlfriend, Roberta. And they took care of me after school. And it wasn't weird, it wasn't strange, he wasn't different. We sewed sequins on his cape because it was fabulous. That's what I did after school, people.
What you do, hooked on phonics?
Yes. All right? And we listened to Marvin Gaye, and we ate fruit, and we had a wonderful time. And it was the most amazing time as a child. My godfather was gay, and he lived with my godmother, who was a lesbian. And I didn't understand that at the time. All right? But these were the people who my parents decided to put in charge if something, God forbid, ever happened to them. These people were going to be in charge of my moral and spiritual upbringing because they were the best human beings on this earth.
And when I was a kid, my favorite nanny au pair / babysitter. I grew up in Detroit, but we somewhere in Martha's Vineyard.
But she'll shake you if you look at her too hard, okay? Don't get it twisted.
Je parle français, and I'm very violent. So, my favorite nanny was BJ, and BJ was, and I'm confident still is, a white lesbian. And she lived with her partner, Carol, who was a Detroit police, officer. And I don't know what that must have been like in that time, like in the 80s, to be a lesbian, a white police officer in Detroit, but I'm gonna say that bitch had it. She worked it.
Yeah.
I never saw a tear. I never saw nothing but hard and sexy. That's what I'm saying. So BJ was my babysitter, and she was the best babysitter I ever had because she was the only one who didn't try to get me to do things I didn't want to do. And I was kind of a weird kid in Detroit as a so-called black person. The first album I bought with my own money was Billy Joel's Glass Houses. We will be back for the Don't Tell My Mother I'm Not That Black episode. What do you expect when you send me to some hippie private school like it's my fucking fault? Anyway. Like, really? Now you're mad at me? We're in the vineyard. Whatever. But BJ took me to my first horror movie, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which now I realize was for her. But at the time, she was always really accepting of me, and I had a hard time getting along with other kids because of my obvious sort of dysmorphic existence. And she would always say to me, "You just be you, Angela. Fuck those kids." Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you something that has guided me every day of my life.
Yeah.
If I stop talking to you, what I'm thinking is, you just be you, Angela. Don't just fuck those kids. So we're biased.
We are biased.
We are biased.
We are a little bit
We're not
biased.
that to you now.
Mm-hmm.
If we're in a room and there aren't gay people in it, we get out of it.
Yeah.
If you go to Harvard Online, you can take a test to see if you're biased in all sorts of areas, about size, about age, about class, race. We took the test and we actually sort of don't like heterosexuals.
No.
We're trying on it. We're working on it. So when we travel to towns, we thought we'd tell you, and we do stand-up shows in these small cities in places like Montana, Iowa.
Yeah, Nebraska.
Woo!
Yeah.
Makes you feel a little bit like Magellan. Or,
It really does.
people lick you, and you're like, no, I'm not actually. I don't taste chocolate.
It's charming that you thought that.
It's charming.
You know what? It's charming. It's charming. They got customs in different parts of the country.
Different
It's
customs,
different.
and it's better than being dragged behind a truck. So in any case, you know what happened. In any case, we want to let you know that here's how we feel about civil rights.
Yes.
It's not our fault. We didn't make the rules.
Yes, we just picked the cotton. Okay?
It's not our paperwork, people.
It's not.
But the paperwork does very clearly say if you are born, you become a civil and you get these motherfucking rights.
Yes, you do.
They don't say motherfucking, but I think they do.
I think it's implied. It's
I think
implied in the
inalienable
text.
is,
Yeah.
it was a euphemism for
Yes.
motherfucker back then.
Yes.
And here's the deal. We really feel like it's important to say this. You cannot call yourself a supporter of civil rights if you don't support absolute equality.
That's right.
I don't care if your name is Jesse. I don't care if it's Al. I don't give a fuck what your name is. If you don't support marriage equality, if you don't support our laws, even when our hearts aren't ready, supporting civil rights, then you just don't get to call yourself a civil rights leader.
No, you don't.
And that's how we feel.
That's how we feel. It truly amazes us that people can walk around being afraid of two men or two women getting married, okay? Because really, when are you going to be challenged with this if this is not for you, okay?
Yeah, like, for me, it's like, what's easier to avoid than a gay marriage? Like, have you ever woken up and been like, I'm at an altar marrying a woman? What? That's crazy. I'm a bigot.
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Let go of the fear.
Please.
It's not going to happen, people.
You know what? It's like this. It's like, it's not, I'm never going to be at work, right? And I order a ham sandwich. And instead of a ham sandwich, they bring me a lesbian. And I go, oh, fuck, I got to eat the lesbian now. Okay. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
send back your lesbian plate.
No!
Plus, you know they're going to spit in it, so don't do it.
Yes! Stop it!
That's never going to happen. You're never going to be walking down the street and find yourself having gay sex.
No!
Let me be really clear. You're never going to walk down the street and find yourself having any kind of fucking sex. No, well, every time you're like, so anyway, I need to go to the store. Wait, I'm fucking.
Yes! Never gonna happen.
And you have the right, this is what we believe about this country, you have the right to feel however you want to feel.
That's right!
If you want to spend your time hating people you don't even fucking know, hey, it's your time to fucking waste.
That's right.
Go ahead.
In fact, that's what we call your house, your hate hut.
It's your hate hut.
You can go in there. You can go in your hate hut and you can hate all you want. You can be there and go there like, I hate that people. I hate Jewish people. I hate gays and lesbians. I hate
whatever you want.
That's right. But when you come out that bitch, you better come motherfucking correct, okay?
Because what you don't have the right to do is impede on somebody else's rights.
That's right.
That's what you don't have the right to do. And let's be really clear about this. As we said, if you don't want to be married to somebody of the same gender, real easy. I'm willing to bet people of the opposite gender don't want your funky ass either.
No.
I'm just saying you're dour.
Yes.
There are lots of things that I hate.
Yeah. Actually, Angela hates toga parties. Did you know that? She hates them.
I hate toga parties.
Yeah.
I love, does anybody hate toga parties? Does anybody else? I hate them. You know why? Because if I'm drunk, naked, and in a sheet, why am I not having more fun?
Right.
We got all the makings of a good night.
Yeah.
Drunk, naked, in a sheet, but I'm holding some white girl's hair as she vomits in an alley.
It happens. It does happen.
How'd you fuck drunk, naked, in a sheet up? How'd you do it? Good. Could have been a good party.
Yes. But let me tell you something about Frangela. We are truth tellers. That's what we do.
We tell the truth.
We tell that truth, baby. All right?
That's right. And let's be clear about this. If people had been given the right or the opportunity to vote on civil rights back in the 60s, if segregation had been up for a vote, right now we'd be down the street going, don't you dare tell my mama! What? This is the way things change. People evolve, but then they need to evolve their asses into that Oval Room and sign a law.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
That's how it happens.
That's how it happens. And if we catch up or we don't catch up, who gives a fuck?
Yes.
Because when the aliens come, Francis and I would rather not be embarrassed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.